Hi everybody, this is Kayla, Lucky Vitamin's Junior Category Manager of Vitamins, Minerals, and Herbs. It's great to have so many people joining us today for the Lucky Vitamin Wellness Webinar, Becoming Super, presented by Healthy Skoop. Thank you all very much. As a naturopathic doctor, entrepreneur, speaker, author, wellness magazine founder, exercise zealot, father, and husband, Dr. James pretty much does it all. He speaks with such enthusiasm and conviction about the wellness lifestyle, you come away feeling inspired to take better care of yourself and to enjoy your life more. James is well known for his highly engaging Optimum Wellness TV segments that highlight all areas of a wellness lifestyle, balancing mind, body, and spirit. He appeared on the QVC network for 5 years as their wellness specialist and has appeared on numerous regional television networks and radio talk shows across the country. His wellness knowledge and passion for helping others live life optimally also extends to creating healthy food products. Dr. James is a co-founder and product formulator for Healthy Skoop, a functional nutritional line. He was also the founder and formulator of Mix One all-natural nutrition shakes. He is an award-winning author of 10 books, including the recently released Think, Eat, Move, Thrive, the practice for an awesome life. James is passionate about everything relating to endurance sports and anything involving exercise, especially cycling and telemark skiing. Along with Dr. James, we will also be hearing from Christine Carey. Christine is the Chief Marketing Scooper at Healthy Skoop with 25+ years of brand experience in the natural and outdoor industries. She invests energy to pursue brands and experiences that create adventure and happiness in our life. As a startup business, Healthy Skoop provides a good amount of both adventure and happiness. She shares an active outdoor lifestyle in Colorado with her husband and 2 young daughters. Before I turn things over, just a few quick reminders. This webinar is being recorded and will be emailed to you after its conclusion. If you have any questions during today's webinar, please enter them into the question box on your screen. At the end of the webinar, we'll try to answer as many as possible. The promotional code will be given at the end of the presentation and will be available for 72 hours. Thank you all again, and I'm going to turn this over to Dr. James and Christine.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and wonderful day to everyone. Thank you so much for that very spirited, all too long introduction. And we're so grateful to have this moment with you because, you know, it's interesting. Christine and I were thinking about what it is that we could do to serve you today, and we're so honored to be a part of the Lucky community. And we really appreciate the fact you took some time out of your busy day to think about what it would be like in your life if you were to define for yourself what does personally your life look like when you're being super. And what's beautiful about this time of the year, I think for many of us, we're thinking, okay, I'm now almost halfway through January. My life is doing X, Y, and Z. I hope I've set some great intentions and some wonderful goals for the new year, but where am I with them now? I'm roughly 12 days in. I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's working, what's not working so well, what's the upgrade, if you will, I could bring into my life? And I hope over this next few minutes together, the most important thing you give yourself permission to do is to exercise your right to practice butt reduction. And I know it sounds like, what are you talking about, butt reduction? It's really, really simple. It's the butt that gets in the way of our great big dreams, the life that we want to create, the one that we want to love out loud. And the butt is, you know what, but I don't like to exercise, but I don't like broccoli, but I don't like kale. Whatever your butts are, let's suspend the butt over these next few minutes and give ourselves permission to rethink, to reevaluate, and to reinvent the idea of what being super is all about. Because what's beautiful and what's really important for you to know, this is your journey. It has nothing to do with what the world, the media, people around you, friends, family, lovers think about what they think your super is. What is your heart's desire for super? What does it look like when you're feeling like your best self? What does it mean when you actually wake up every single morning open to the idea of creating a life that you love? And Christine and I are really honored to think about with you today, what would that look like if we were to actually have our lives on fire with purpose? What would it look like if we had the courage and the conviction to follow through on our goals? And most importantly, how could sustain this, not just over the course of this year, but what does this look like as a lifestyle, a style of living that we have the rest of our time here? So with that, let's start right in, and I hope you're open to this idea of butt reduction, because you're going to find as we start sharing some information, you're going to have that little nemesis, that little voice that says, but he doesn't know my story, or but she doesn't know what I've been through. And you know, you're right. We have no idea what your story is. But I can tell you, after 20 years of clinical practice and having the honor of working with over 10,000 patients, I've heard a lot of incredible stories. I've heard a lot of tragedies. I've heard a lot of heroes. I've heard a lot of things that people have overcome. And the beautiful thing is, Skoop as a company is very much about the hero's journey. We as a company believe that it is all about the idea of self-care and self-love that truly can help us to overcome any kind of self-oppression. Any small story that we've been telling ourselves, any opportunity that's been holding us back, we want to be for you an opportunity and advocacy in a simple way that you can place into your daily style of living that allow you to really step into that rare air of world-class living and giving and loving that life that you live each and every day. So Skoop, just a quick background on who we are as a company. We're based in Boulder, Colorado. We're a small team, but we're mighty. We're delusionally optimistic. We believe that we can absolutely transform the world. And what's beautiful is that we're just like you. We're moms and dads. We're sisters. We're brothers. And we are courageously trying to do what we believe is the impossible. And that is to bring superfoods to everyone across the country. And what's beautiful about this opportunity for you and I is that it doesn't matter where you are. It's about starting. It's about giving yourself permission to actually say, you know what? I'm open to bringing superfoods in because I know and I really understand that the way I take care of my body through the foods that I consume has a physiological experience in how it is that my emotional, spiritual, physical well-being shows up. And that's what we're all about here doing at Skoop. We're an entrepreneurial company that's about helping support you to create a life that truly helps you to catch fire. And what's beautiful about this, too, is that our products were designed to really be accessible. We're all about convenient nutrition. We're all about the idea of making organic superfoods accessible no matter how fast your life is moving. We are big believers that convenient nutrition is where people live today. We have a motto that says we are wellness at the speed of your life. So no matter how fast you're moving, no matter how many balls you have in the air, or if you will, you're looking for a way to navigate what it is that we're hearing so much about today. Is this whole idea of, gosh, you know what? If I could only do this, if I could only do that, these things would change my physiology. If I could do this, then I could really create something that would allow me to not only experience impeccable energy all day long, but to help me gain something I believe is one of the greatest tenets of successful intentions and goal setting. And that is something called self-efficacy. You may have heard of something like this. It's the whole idea that we actually gain confidence, we actually gain super by actually following through on our good intentions. That's self-efficacy. When we designed our whole product line, it was about making it simple and convenient so we could follow through on our good intentions, and that in and of itself would help us to build self-efficacy. And when we do that, we can overcome that small voice that says, who do you think you are? You've failed in the past. It doesn't matter how super you want to be. You can't be super. Well, you know what? This is the year we're all going to be super together, because absolutely Skoop's whole mission is make superfoods simple and approachable to help you close the gap on your good intentions. So as we kind of launch in here, which is beautiful, you get an opportunity to look what it is that your super looks like to you. And this is the part about butt reduction. This is when it comes to life. What is it when you think of your life's design? You say, gosh, you know what? If I had more energy, I would do this. If I could get my body to really be in alignment with what my heart's knowing is, this is how it would look. This is how it would show up. We really believe everyone has a super inside of them. It's that whole idea when you walk into that telephone booth and you're hoping for transformation. We believe you walk into Skoop's experience, you will experience true transformation, physiologically, emotionally, and spiritually, because it all comes down to following through on our good intentions and letting your physiology do the work. So this is beautiful, and I think this is something I think we can talk about today forever, but really just in a moment's notice. Think about what it is when you think of super. what does this look like from a food standpoint? Do you picture yourself, oh my gosh, I'm standing in front of an endless buffet of kale. I'm thinking to myself, gosh, do I have to mainline cruciferous vegetables every single day in order to be super? Do I have to figure out how to get those seeds out of my pomegranates? Do I have to figure out how it is that adaptogenic herbs need to be a part of my day when I can't even pronounce them, let alone spell them? Well, that's my issue with a lot of these ideas of superfoods. There's a lot of really cool companies out there trying to do awesome things. But we are really thinking that from a Skoop standpoint, we just want to be an on-ramp. We believe that people are looking for simple plant-based nutrition that's delivered in a convenient form that tastes good enough to want to do every single day. And most importantly, you can trust it. Because it's so important about this idea of quality, convenient, plant-based nutrition. You want to know that the people behind the company have done their homework. And like anything in life, in January, it's about really studying what's going on in the space of wellness and self-care and how can you take advantage of the latest science. Well, before we actually jump into how it is that we're going to create a life that we love, we have to know that the foundation's been laid. When it comes to Skoop and what it is that we've done in our homework, we are big believers of going with the highest quality ingredients. We're loving the idea of certified organic coming from QAI. That's like the super uber certification for making sure what's in the product is of the highest quality, organically speaking. Our products are actually created out of and manufactured out of a GMP certified facility. That simply means that they actually are making sure that no funky things fall into the product, the label claims show up, and yes, you recognize the sign of USDA organic. That's a really simple knowing that you are getting the highest quality, fresh, organic, most functional ingredients that you can find anywhere. And we love to say this is farm to blender. It's a whole idea of potent, high-quality ingredients finding their way into certified, simple, and approachable superfoods. So really, here's a nice overview here before we jump into how you're going to create a life that you love. We want to design a product line that's ever evolving. We're all about innovation. You're going to find that our protein line between Be Strong and Super Skoop, they're all about giving you a foundation of meal replacement and protein pre and post workout. This is a foundation of our entire program. We also have organic greens coming in the form of something called A-Game. A-Game is awesome. We'll talk about this in a moment because it's really, really cool. Be Lovely is like a food-based facelift. And if you're one of those people, and I live with a couple of teenage daughters and my lovely wife of 25 years, I can tell you our house and our bathrooms are full of lotions and potions. And I thought to myself, gosh, you know what's interesting? We all want to look awesome and we all want to feel awesome, but how much time do we think about our skin's health in relationship with what we're putting on inside of our body, if you will? So Be Lovely was created for that. And lastly, our product Ignite to help you get a super workout every time you move. So here's interesting, and I know you're going to think to yourself, okay, what does cultural contagion have to do with me creating a life that I love? And what does this mean to actually be culturally awake and be contagious in how I show up in this world? Well, this is really interesting because the latest science that comes down to how it is that we absolutely have sustained motivation, that we don't fall off the wagon, that we don't give ourselves permission to give into that small voice of fear and chronic not enoughness. This is all about doing one simple practice, and that is mastering the morning. Because mastering the morning has every good bit for you to lean right into right now. When I say it's every good bit of research that talks about the people that are most successful in business, most successful with diets, most successful relationship, these are the happiest, the most highly functioning, and meaning-filled lives happen when we can master the morning. Science tells us this. And there are 3 things that you can do starting tomorrow morning that will absolutely put you in the rear of world-class self-care, that will absolutely help you lead yourself into a space where you're going, oh my gosh, all I did was own my morning, and I can't believe how the rest of my day showed up for me. I literally transformed the quality of my life. So the 3 things that you want to think about. Number 1 is something called the Linchpin Habit. And this is out of great Stanford research that says, you know what? Don't try to change everything when you're trying to create a new habit. Don't try to change all your behaviors. Change one. In fact, the research shows that if we can own one new habit each and every morning within an hour of waking, we call this the Linchpin Habit, research tells us that that can literally help us to transform dozens of habits the rest of the day. It's kind of like that whole idea one good thing begets the next good thing, and the whole idea of one good thing being contagious to all good things. And what's really interesting about that, this idea from me to we, this really ties into what it is that MIT says, the most successful people who literally understand that intrinsic focus is the way to create a life that you love of deep meaning success. No matter if it's diet, exercise, money, relationships, you have to understand that what MIT has found out, when we become me to we focused, which is literally pulls something called the intrinsic lever. Intrinsic simply means I do things that are great because it's bigger than me. I know it sounds a little weird to say, gosh, you know what, self-care, it seems like, well, it's about really doing this diet for me. It's about doing this diet so I can look good. It's about getting this new job so I can make more money for me. Well, that could be cool, but here's what's interesting. When we have those kinds of focuses, studies show that we literally create more anxiety. We can actually lead ourselves into more depression, and we actually create more inflammation in our life when we become focused on how it shows up just for ourselves. But if we can turn this from a me to a we, become intrinsically focused, set goals that are bigger than us, you would be amazed what happens. In fact, studies say, wow, the people that actually get intrinsically focused tend to have the longest and most sustained motivation of anybody. This is a very cool idea. So how does this actually show up in terms of a linchpin habit, and why do we create A-game? A-game was designed to be the linchpin habit. This is a way of getting your phenomenal ORAC equivalent, antioxidant equivalent of 6 servings of organic fruits and vegetables in every single serving. This is a way of getting your checkoffs for your probiotics, your adaptogenic herbs. This is a way of getting convenience into a plant-based diet first thing in the morning to achieve that linchpin habit, and yes, bring all the goodness, if you will, that's going to actually help your body have a positive relationship with inflammation, which is the primary cause for aging and disease. And if you will, starting at first thing in the morning, you give yourself permission to change your mindset. Remember that whole idea of linchpin habit? Think about what you want to create in your life. Give yourself permission to use A-game as that linchpin, and you'll be getting this opportunity to bring in the awesomeness of the phytonutrients, the amazing supportive nutrition of the probiotics, which actually help you understand we're not what we eat, but what we absorb. And this wonderful, cool thing, here's a Scrabble word for you. You may have heard of these things called adaptogenic herbs. These are smart herbs. They literally help our bodies to be met where they are. If we're highly stressed and highly wired, they help us bring into balance. If we have ourselves feeling fatigued and we're looking for ways to, if you will, shift and actually give yourself permission, this is the way that actually helps yourself to do that. And what's really cool about this, first thing in the morning, it's points on the board. You can actually shake this up with water, almond milk, or add it to a smoothie. A-game helps you get your A-game on and get your super moving forward every single morning. Now, people say, okay, I love the idea of A-game, but I need a little bit more quality protein in my life. I need a little bit more ways to get a meal replacement opportunity. Well, that's what Super Skoop was invented to do. This is by far my favorite personal product because I said to myself, gosh, if I could put everything I know that could really help shift my physiology into my daily plan, what could I do? Well, we created Super Skoop because this is what I would do. It's the whole idea of getting plant-based protein, 20 grams of plant-based protein, antioxidants equivalent of 4 cups of organic fruits and vegetables, a 50% hit of your daily intake of vitamins and minerals, and yes, 1,000 milligrams of omega-3s. This is like all the checkoffs we want to have every single day, but most importantly, it tastes so good. You're going to think, wow, if it has all that nutrition, it can't taste that good. Well, this tastes awesome, and you're going to love it, and a combination of powerful prebiotics and probiotics, 1 billion CFUs per serving, equal a gram of prebiotic fiber as well, and 7 full grams of soluble fiber. This is coming in at 150 calories total when you add it to water, and it has a delicious dark chocolate or vanilla. So if you're a breakfast skipper, here's a little tip for you, and you say, gosh, you know, one of my goals this year, I want to maintain healthy weight, or I want to release some weight. Number one driver for healthy weight management and or healthy sustained weight loss was done by the American Weight Loss Registry, which basically looks at people who've lost at least 30 pounds for at least 10 years and sustained it. Here's what they found. They found out that people who did one thing each and every day was the most important thing to actually help them achieve their weight loss goals. Guess what it was? Breakfast. So if you're a breakfast skipper, it's time to get on the breakfast bandwagon. So how to use this product? Really, really simple. If you're a performer of any level, a mom, a dad, an athlete, a server of the world, a superhuman waiting to become even more super, this is your meal replacement, your breakfast on the fly. It's perfect at 3 in the afternoon. And yes, with water, almond milk, coconut milk, or your regular milk, this is truly awesome. So this, to me, is maybe the most important slide, and I hope you put this to memory. I hope you put this in your heart's knowing, and I hope you give yourself permission to really take this to heart. Because what we know about the whole idea of really getting your physiology and your spiritual well-being, your emotional super on, so you never forget how good you are, this is an opportunity to own your morning. And there's a 4-point mission that I love to say could literally transform every area of your life. And here's how it works. It's back to the morning idea. And I can't tell you how much I believe that if you could just do one thing starting tomorrow morning, is to give yourself permission to think about how it is that you want your day to be. And understand if you could give yourself literally an extra 20 minutes, just carve it out, create it, let nothing come in the way of these 4 points, you will see your physiology literally transform. Your energy will be over the moon, your positivity will be unparalleled, and your ability to show up and be what you came here to be will be absolute. Number 1, when you wake up first thing in the morning, you open your eyes, before you do anything, think about the mission you have for your day. Who do you want to be? Envision it, because when you envision your mission, you get the frontal lobe of your brain to start actually going to work at creating what this looks like. It starts to seek opportunities. And you can do this literally just for a few moments, a couple of breaths. Just get a visual idea of what you want to be standing for. Hold it just long enough so it absolutely cements itself into your visual field inside of your brain, and then move forward. Number 2, absolutely commit to this mantra. I will exercise only on the days that I eat. Pretty straightforward, huh? You know what? At Skoop, we're like, you know what? We think it's pretty cool. Just exercise only on the days that you eat. Here's what happens when you move, whether it's a walk, you're lifting weights, you're doing yoga, you're getting on your treadmill, your Stairmaster. It doesn't really matter. What you can do is simply give yourself permission to move. Movement builds your dopamine. Dopamine's your neurochemical for motivation. It gives you confidence. It gives you courage. It also increases your serotonin, which is your happiness hormone. This is the idea of just taking a few minutes to literally sweat your prayers. And when you do that, you help your mind and your body get its own super on. You have a pharmacy inside of you. You have to open the door to this pharmacy through opening your mind and moving your body. Thirdly, take 2 to 5 minutes after you are done with your movement session and simply be. Mindfulness, meditation, prayer, call it what you will, is simply giving yourself permission to breathe, to be present. Every good study that came out on the idea of having a brain and a mind that supports transformation and evolution tells us that something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is this really cool protein that all of us have in our brains, gets released and helps our to grow our gray matter, which makes us smarter and more amazing and more super, happens when we're present. So take a few moments, give yourself the gratitude experience, reduce the size of your butt, and then from there, move into your meal. And that's the perfect opportunity for either A game or Super Scoop, because what's beautiful about this is that you can follow your movement, follow your mindfulness with a meal, which literally helps to cement in that neurochemistry of super. And one of my favorite ways to do that personally is through a product called Be Strong. Be Strong is the whole idea of getting a high-quality protein, getting some wonderful utilizable carbohydrates, and, if you will, adding in some prebiotic fibers to help support your digestive tract. This is a cool thing to remember. There's something called the microbiome, and you're probably very familiar with it. But just as a reminder, you think about something called epigenetics. And that's the whole idea of how your environment influences the way your genes express themselves. Is it disease? Is it vitality? Is it harmony? Is it all the things you want, or is it things you don't want? You have to understand this beautiful connection to how it is the health of your digestive tract, with things like prebiotics and probiotics, gives you permission physiologically to help your body create and sustain a healthy microbiome. And when you do that, your genes have a chance to express harmony. your genes have expressed the opportunity of positivity to help naturally keep inflammation at bay and to promote the idea of energy, the idea of how it is that you believe your super looks and feels, in giving the physiological foundation to realize that goal. So Super Skoop and, if you will, the Be Strong, they were designed to do really simple things. Be a wonderful pre or post workout. You can do it for breakfast, a meal, but simply remember that after you're done working out, you have a window, and it's called the glycogen window. And if you're saying to yourself, one of my goals this year, I want to lose weight, I want to help develop more lean muscle. Lean muscle is the #1 biomarker for aging and helping to fight inflammation and give my mitochondria more energy. Well, guess what? It happens with more lean muscle, and you have to replenish and feed your lean muscle directly after exercise. Be Strong is awesome for that. So give yourself permission to use this as that pre or post workout, that mid-morning, mid-afternoon support system, that breakfast on the fly. This is a wonderful way to feel good about your self-care and make it easy. So this one is interesting. And I think for all of us out there who say, gosh, there's a super in me, and this year I'm going to do my first triathlon. It's going to be a sprint triathlon. This is the first year I'm going to do my 5K walk. This is the first year I'm going to step into a CrossFit cage. I'm going to rock my WOD. Whatever it is that you're looking to do, if you're looking for a little extra kick into the ways that you want to be sweating your prayers every single day, here's what's beautiful. All you need to do is think about the power of beets. Beets, not borscht, but beets, because beets are awesome. They have something called nitric oxide, which basically is nitrates. They are actually naturally occurring within the beets. They actually help to create something called vasodilation, which means you're going to get a stronger blood flow, red blood cells moving stronger and width, if you will, and at the same time carry more oxygen. More oxygen means more energy, more endurance. This is also coupled with something called D-ribose, and D-ribose is awesome for helping to couple this with the nitric oxide. Think all about this. This is just energy. Supportive food-based energy that couples the power of beets with how it is that when you start to move, a whole energy comes to find with that. And nitric oxide, the beet idea, the ribose comes together, helps us to support and sustain amazing energy. You deserve, if you will, to have this 15 to 30 minutes before you work out. It'll help you to sustain your workout, but most importantly, it'll help you to feel good while you're going through the workout with that sustained energy. And yes, the wonderful side effect of organic beets, it actually helps with our cardiovascular health in general, so your heart is healthy too. Now, this product is, I think, for all of us who are thinking in terms of, yeah, you know what, I want my body to look good, I want my digestive tract to feel awesome and produce phenomenal absorption, and so I can really have epigenetics that are really lights out awesome. Well, I'd also like to have my billboard to the world look good too, and that's your face. And when you feed your face, Be Lovely from Skoop, this is the idea of a food-based facelift. This is using the power of plants to help support and fortify healthy skin, from your collagen right through to your epidermis. And it's beautiful because it does it in 3 ways, through antioxidants coming through organic berries, things like strawberries and blueberries and cranberries. They're all rich in something called anthocyanins. Think of those as supercharged antioxidants. They're beautiful, they're awesome, highly effective protecting your skin from free radicals, which actually drive the aging process. There's also something called alpha-linoleic acid. And the linoleic acid is all about the idea of bringing healthy fats into your diet that actually have to strengthen and fortify your collagen. So gravity doesn't take over. Collagen gets the support from the food it needs. And lastly, you've heard of this. Great Scrabble word, resveratrol. It's the idea of bringing in the plant-based power of the age-fighting antioxidant awesomeness of something called Japanese fleece flower. Rich, naturally rich in resveratrol. This is something if you're looking for a way to actually help promote healthy skin, help your body naturally fight inflammation, at the same time promote glowing skin that you want to do every single day as your food-based facelift, this is awesome. I love personally mix it with your water. Have yourself a quart of water first thing in the morning, spritz in some fresh lemon, and sip it throughout the morning. You want to hydrate. This is bringing the extra fortification through superfoods to help fortify your skin and your overall beauty. Now, this is probably, if you say to yourself, what's the big take home here? When I think about getting my super on, what does it really look like? Well, if you're interested in having more abundance in your life, And maybe it's abundance in the form of money, relationship awesomeness, the idea of a stronger body, a more disciplined, focused mind. But all it is that you're really looking to do is have more success. Here's what we know. Harvard Business School has been looking at who it is that's the most successful in this world. What do they do every single day? Well, what we do know from Harvard and their research, if we can build our creativity, it's the #1 thing that people look towards when they're hiring today. They want to hire people who are creative. They want to know those people actually have the resilience and the grit, and they don't just think outside the box. They can't even see the box. So when Harvard tells us we need to work on our creativity, you say to yourself, well, gosh, you know what? I'm not an artist. I'm not a creative type. What do I do? Well, here's what's beautiful. A lot of good studies have been looked at creativity from all kinds of different standpoints. But one of the ones I love the most, because it's the easiest, is what Stanford found out. Stanford said that one of the greatest ways to get your creativity on, to help you get your super on, it's really simple. Go for a walk. Literally, take yourself for a walk. That's what the studies tell us, is that when you're feeling yourself sluggish, you're feeling your brain not being in a good place, your confidence is not where you'd love it to be, to go out there and really rock your world, give yourself a walk. Here's who's doing walking. Steve Jobs was famous for saying every time that he was stuck, or his production team and people who were actually in the world of innovation, they used to take walks. Steve Jobs would take off his shoes and do barefoot walks. He'd bring his team with him, and they would take a walking meeting. Beethoven used to always walk before he composed. Mark Zuckerberg, who's all about his Facebook creativity, he is a walker. He takes his team for meetings when they're stuck or helping to create a new evolution of Facebook and social media. And Nietzsche himself was all about the idea that before he did any of his creative work, he made himself go for a walk because he knew his creativity would flow. And what you need to know, when we move, our brain grows. And when your brain grows, your creativity flourishes. So what's beautiful about this couples perfectly with what it is that we know about when people want to feel successful, but most importantly, they're looking for a reason and a science-based, factual way to actually navigate each and every day. And I want you to really think about this. Where are you in your life today? How successful are you in your life today? I don't mean successful with money, or that may be your barometer for sex. I mean more like fulfillment and meaning. When you wake up in the morning, there's something you want to do that's bigger than you. When you go to bed at night, you feel peaceful because you did what you came here to do. You lived your life full out. According to research by Angela Duckworth, who did most of her great research out of West Point, she was trying to figure out who are the most successful people and how does they get through each and every day. How do they navigate? How do they actually keep their mojo going? How does motivation stay with them and for them throughout each and every day? Well, she found out what's more important than your IQ, your EQ, your GPA, and all the stuff that we typically look towards around smarts or intelligence with success. They pale in comparison to something called grit. Grit. Think about grit. It's tenacity, it's persistence, it's not giving up. It's when you fail, you're getting back up. And what we know is there's 3 ways to actually scientifically align with the principles of grit. Number 1 is willpower. Number 2 is resilience. Number 3 is optimism. And there are 3 ways that we actually can build those 3 experiences to have grit. And if you do nothing other than this one slide, you will be amazed what happens to your confidence, how you absolutely innately will release your superhero. You get going from superstar, that one is all about saying what's in it for me, and going into the superhero role, what's in it for all of us. Willpower, resilience, and optimism are built by 3 practices. Number 1, movement. If you move every single day, you build a chemistry of grit. Dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine. These are all your neurochemicals that actually align with the idea of grit. They give you fortitude, they give you vision, they give you courage, and when we move, we build those. Number 2, the whole idea around mindfulness. In fact, studies say that meditators have greater grit. People who are present, people who do prayer, people who do anything, if you will, to augment their mindfulness, they also have greater grit. A few minutes of mindfulness each and every morning, or take a minute every hour through the day. You're at work 8 hours a day, say to yourself, you know what, 2 minutes before the top of each hour, I'm going to step away from my computer, I'm going to step away from my work, I'm going to literally go someplace where it's quiet and just take 2 minutes, and I'm going to breathe consciously. I'm going to get present. And number 3, optimism. And this is where Skoop comes in. This is the whole idea of how it is that if you want to create grit and sustain your resilience, build your willpower, have that fortitude, blood sugar is critical. When your blood sugar drops, your motivation drops. When your blood sugar is not where it needs to be at a healthy level, our fortitude, our courage, our creativity, they all fall away. When I was thinking about how to create support systems through superfoods, I thought about, wow, A-Game, Super Scoop, Be Strong. These products are designed to be convenient to support your grit, to give you superfoods around self-efficacy, following through with your good intentions. And here's the beautiful thing for you to remember. You are standing in a moment right now. Your grit is all about your willingness to move into the idea of yes. What holds you back? Is it a past story that you're still hanging on to? Is it something that says, you know what, James and Christine, they have no idea what I've been through? We don't. But here's what we know you could be going through. You could be going through a new doorway right now. And you could decide to have your yes. You could decide to say, you know what, this is what I'm going to stand for. I am no longer going to be a part of the tyranny of trends. I'm no longer going to settle in line with mediocrity. I am standing for my next evolution of my super. And the whole idea of grit and how we build it is the foundation of how that happens. And finally, as we turn this over to Christine, this is the thing I really believe brings everything home. 5 questions you want to ask yourself every single night before you go to bed. This is the way I think we get everything put into perspective. Think about this. Before you go to bed tonight, ask yourself this. Who did I help today? Did I move closer to my big goals? Did I live and act in complete integrity? Did I fully align with that integrity? What did I learn today? And from everything I learned, how tomorrow morning can I wake up and serve greater? We are all alive to the degree that we serve. And there's a beautiful Scrabble word here for you that I think you're going to love. And don't worry about trying to spell it. I still can't spell it. It basically is the idea of eudaimonia. Eudaimonia. It's a Greek word. In fact, Aristotle coined this word as his idea. When you are practicing eudaimonia, you are living with noble purpose. That's it. Eudaimonia is noble purpose. How would you love to lead your life as a eudaimoniac? Someone who decided that I'm going to lead my life with noble purpose. I'm going to give myself permission to use my self-care, my self-love as a cultural contagion to remind everyone around me of the possibility of what super looks like when I'm channeling my very best self, when I give myself permission to be here as I came here to be. The one who is super, loving, kind, generous, amazing. I'm a eudaimoniac. And I have the great pleasure to turn this over to Christine, who is our awesome, fearless marketer extraordinaire. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about eudaimonia in relationship to how it is that Skoop isn't just a superfood company. We are a superfood company with a great big mission that I think you're going to feel wonderfully inspired by as you think about your own eudaimonia project.
Thanks, James, and hello to everyone. Yeah, we're very excited, and I'm very excited to be able to share with you guys today just this little piece about our Project Produce. And, you know, everything that James has led up to here, you know, talks about personally being super, that what that represents to us. For Skoop, it's, you know, being super nutrition. But making those lines connect when it comes to what the mission of the company is, yes, we want to be a successful super nutrition company. But success for us goes right back to that eudaimonia, that it's not just about sales. It's about fulfillment. It's about purpose. And Project Produce does that. It's a program that is good for you and good for the kids. And basically what it is a program where 3% of our sales, not 3% of our profits, but 3% of our sales go to fruit and veggie grants that help schools K through 12. And right now we've helped 34 schools in the last year, 18,000 plus kids. We have about 14 states nationwide that the schools that are in, and we're really excited. It's smoothie bars, it's sampling of fruits and vegetables. It's really educating kids and bringing the idea of superfoods, fresh produce, to young kids who might not know about it or expand their knowledge about it. And it brings a fuller purpose to us at Skoop, to me personally, and I know to James also. And so that's a great connection, that it's good for you and good for the kids overall.
So when you think about what you're going to do now, and I know there's several of us who are thinking to ourselves, gosh, where do I begin? You begin by just taking action. Is it just simply dropping into a yoga squat right now, going into warrior pose? Is it going and sauteing up some broccoli? Is it actually ordering Super Skoop from Lucky and a wonderful community we have with Lucky? Do something now to seize the moment. Basically, carpe punctum means to seize the moment. What action will you take right here and right now? Because what Newton said so well is that the idea of movement begins and then insists on other movements. Remember your Linchpin habit. Choose something awesome right now that's simple, that's allowable, that's totally doable, and trust that spirit, that knowing inside of you, that wonderful inner enthusiasm will take you to the next step. It's all about action to create a reaction, and the reaction is the super part of you ready to unfold. And what we'd love to do, if anyone has any questions, whether it's supplements, whether it's yoga, whether it's who knows what it is, sleeping, you name it, we're here to serve you. So we'd love to take any questions you may have, and just please know how grateful we are that we had a chance to hang with you on today and to serve you and to wish you well with this whole experience of getting your super on.
Thank you, Dr. James and Christine. That was full of great information. We do have some questions that have come in, so we want to get right into those. You may have touched on some of these points already, so feel free to go back through your slides as needed. First question is, can you provide advice on mental well-being and attainment for happiness?
Happiness.
Happiness. Well, here's the fun part about happiness. Number one thing that University of Pennsylvania says that all of us can do every single day to achieve greater happiness, pretty cool stuff. You're going to love this. They say that all of us, no matter who you are, have something that we love to do that really is inspiring. And you may think, that's not me. But you know what? UPenn has been doing this for literally hundreds of thousands of people, and they say that it's called a signature strength. But here's the rub on this. It means that whether it's cooking, whether it's art, whether it's exercise, whatever it is that you love to do, they say that when we just have a mindset of doing it in service for others, that we literally are not afraid to do it in public, that it becomes, if you will, a public display for other people. That's the number one way to get our kindness on. That literally helps us to augment our personal happiness. But here's the cool thing beyond that. The number two thing is to avoid social comparison. And how interesting is that with social media and everyone, how should we say, trying to keep up with someone on whatever reality TV show is going on. They say one of the primary ways that we find ourselves unhappy is comparing ourselves to others who we deem are more cool, more sexy, more awesome than we are. So one of the things I do personally as my own way of creating happiness, I media fast. I do not watch television, and I do not allow myself to get caught up in what other people are doing as much as I possibly can. I live in a little opulent bubble, and that's where my happiness lies. So if you guys can think about, wow, I've got something special inside of me, I'm not afraid to bring it out in the world, and if I let someone else see it, I'm going to be happier for it. So that's a pretty cool practice for all of us.
Thank you. That was some really great tips in there. I'm going to sort of combine two questions into one now. First question is, where are the Skoop products made? And the second part is, how can consumers assure their superfoods are of the highest quality?
Well, that's an awesome question. Well, a couple of things. Number one, the vast majority of all of our superfoods, our fruits and vegetables, come from here in the United States, from organic farms. And the beautiful thing about it, the A game is made right here in Colorado, where our Super Skoop, our meal replacement product, is made in Wisconsin. But we're sourcing ingredients primarily across the United States from organic farmers, which is fabulous. So the products are made to the highest standards. And if you will, I think it goes back to the simple slide that says GMP, certified organic, and something called QAI. And for people out there going, well, you know what? I think organic's awesome, but is it really, really the highest standard of organic? QAI is all about making sure the superfoods are built, if you will, under the strictest conditions. And I say built because we take in the fresh vegetables and fresh fruits and the superfoods into where we build the products and put them into powder. They literally are doing something called drum drying, which basically means they are dried slowly at low, low heat to remove all the moisture. And basically, then the whole vegetables, the whole fruits are powdered from there and put into our containers. This is literally fruits and vegetables that have been dried, water taken out, but to ensure that all the nutrition stays within the products themselves, they're actually in the powder where it's powdered down. So that to me is one of the coolest and most convenient ways. And yes, if you have the time and energy every single day to saute your fresh organic fruits and vegetables and do your thing with, how should we say, high energy food prep, go for it. We would never want to discourage that. We don't believe anything other than that's the best way to go. But when you're pressed for time and you're looking for a convenient way to go, that's where Skoop can actually help to fill in those blanks in between. When you're trying to make good decisions, make the best choices, but life is moving too fast to do so.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that information. So you did touch on a couple products, specifically your proteins that all seem to be plant-based proteins. What is the benefit to consuming a plant-based protein versus the more common whey protein?
I think the biggest one for me personally, and I've used so many of them over the years and certainly with my patients, I find that, whey protein's wonderful and whey protein isolates can be super great for people in terms of getting a quality protein. But for a lot of people, they're saying, gosh, I don't do well with dairy products. I don't do well with soy. I don't do well with dairy. So I find that the allergenicity or my sensitivities build up over time. Other thing I think you should look for is the fact that plant-based protein, by and large, are very, very hypoallergenic, meaning that without the dairy, without the gluten, without the soy, people tend to absorb them very, very well. But for me as a clinician, the biggest part for me that I love about plant-based proteins is naturally supporting a healthy inflammatory response. Just think about this idea that what drives aging, what drives disease primarily is inflammation, chronic low-grade inflammation. And what we do know is that the more plant-based our diets are, the more plant-based lifestyles we have, the greater opportunity we have to help naturally and supportively keep inflammation at bay, create a healthy inflammatory response. So to me, it's all about the health of what it is that plant-based proteins do for you. But on top of that too, if you find yourself, gosh, you know what? I know I'm not getting enough fruits and vegetables. I know I could use a source that's going to really deliver on that promise. You want to choose something that really has that distinction of high quality. The organic piece, I think, is huge for us. But really, when you get right down to it, you're only going to do what tastes good over every single day. And I can tell you, I've tried every single product under the sun, and I hope you guys at Lucky have tried them too. I do believe our products taste as good, if not better, than any product out there. Totally biased, completely own it, but we work really, really hard to make sure these taste awesome so you could do them every single day and actually look forward to doing them.
Thank you, and I can also vouch and say I've tried your products, and I think they're delicious as well.
Thank you.
We have time for, sure, we have time for one more question. So one of our audience members wrote in and asked, in order to sort of follow Becoming Super and all the tips that you shared, is there any suggestions to go along with getting their children to sort of form these positive habits early on?
I know that Christine and I both have strong feelings about this. We both have children, 4 between the two of us. You know, I have teenage daughters, and if anyone out there has teenagers, they're probably saying, gosh, you know what? I'm so much about not trying to tell them what they should be doing because they never listen. I can tell you the thing that's probably been best for me, and this is probably something I hope you can really relate to. Kids are open to being inspired, but I love to say they don't really want to hear the sermon, but they definitely will be open to seeing it. And it's really interesting as parents, we have a blessing to actually model. I know it sounds cliche, model good behaviors, but modeling good behaviors means beyond just taking products that are good for you. It means being generous, being kind, being vital, being optimistic. And when they see that type of energy, connected to things like taking your Skoop and eating plants and doing your yoga. There's nothing more compelling. It goes back to this idea of why we call this cultural contagion. Love, kindness, creativity, inspiration is contagious. It's that simple. As a parent, when you exercise your own self-love and self-care, it is wildly contagious, and it will definitely infect, in the most loving way, everyone that you're around, including your children. Don't see it as an overnight thing, but it will happen. Have the faith, have the tenacity, have the grit, and move forward. What do you think, Christine?
You know, I would say for me, I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, both daughters, and one of the things for eating related to Skoop is that our product is so great that you can have it be a flavor that you want. So as an example, getting your kids to try it, have them try different fruits and vegetables in a smoothie. So my one daughter only likes strawberries, so she does a very rich strawberry smoothie in the morning with our Breeze Strong or with our Super Skoop. And that's her way of doing it. My other daughter likes chocolate, so she does something with chocolate flavor, peanut butter, banana, and so then she has a flavor that she likes, because I think a lot of getting someone, especially children, to eat something that's really good for them, it's got to have a great flavor for them, and trying all kinds of different things. And that's the fun part of being in the kitchen with your children also. It's like you're hanging out with them, you're innovating with some new flavors, and they're getting to do it all and experimenting with it. So it can be a really fun learning experience at the same time.
Awesome answer. What do you guys do? Do you have kids? What's your thing?
Neither of us have kids.
All right. Well, what do you guys do for the people that? What do you guys do for the people who love you and the people who say, "Oh, you work for Lucky. You guys know all this great nutrition stuff." How do you impact them? How do you inspire them?
I think we just go around and really spread what we know. We kind of live our slogan of spread the wellness. We try to introduce people to new products or show them new ways to use it. That's how I do it, since I don't have children, and I'm just spreading to my friends and my family. But I don't know if Kayla.
Yeah, definitely just loving to talk to other people that are, in the really into health and fitness, and I love trying products suggested by people who share the same sort of values and beliefs that I do.
As you guys are speaking, here's the cool image that you created, and I hope everyone is listening today. And, before we say goodbye, maybe this is the way that, with what you just shared in that wisdom, and I love that, is that, this world is like a big garden, and all of us who are in this wellness lifestyle, we're like a bunch of bees, like honeybees. And we get a choice to courageously get up every single day and go out and fly into the garden and pollinate. And we pollinate best when we're actually on the move, doing things with kindness and generosity and an open heart. And I think we should just set the intention here at Lucky and this entire community to be pollinators. The world needs a lot of pollinating. It needs a lot of kindness, it needs generosity, it needs service. And the more that we're courageous in our service, the more that we're going to transform these flowers to have them be blooming into wellness, into vitality, into the kind of inspiration that we all deserve and desire, but so few people have been touched. So I think what you just said, our companions here at Lucky, is what we want to be for here at Skoop. Let's pollinate like crazy. Let's be ruckus makers. Let's light it up to making this garden literally explode.
Thanks, Dr. James. We are going to wrap this up now. Thank you all for attending, and thank you especially to Dr. James and Christine for all of the information. If you have not already done so, please register for our upcoming webinars. For more information, please visit LuckyVitamin.com and search keyword webinar. Please see the screen for an exclusive promo code. Remember, this code is active now and will be active for the next 72 hours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day. Happy New Year.